Have you ever, like, actually stopped to think about how we know, like, for sure, that we're actually talking to a real person online?
Yeah, it's kind of wild when you really think about it.
Right, like, we've all seen those KPT, CHA things
All right.
to prove we're not robots, but, like, what happens when AI gets even more, I don't know, smarter?
It's a question more and more people are asking these days, especially with with the rise of those hyper-realistic deepfakes and AI chatbots
Yeah,
that
exactly.
can basically, like, perfectly mimic how we talk.
It's, like, straight out of sci-fi,
Yeah.
but it's, like, actually our reality now,
Yeah.
which is kind of wild to think about. And now Sam Altman, the ChatGPT guy, he's
Yeah.
getting in on this whole digital identity thing with
Right.
his new company world.
Yeah. Formerly known as WorldCoin, they rebranded
Interesting, interesting. So how are they tackling this whole digital identity problem?
with an orb.
An orb. Okay, you gotta give me a little more go on here. Like, what is this orb?
So imagine like a high-tech security camera.
Okay.
But instead of taking pictures, it scans your iris,
Mm,
the colored part of your eye.
gotcha.
And so this orb, it takes that biometric data and uses it to make what they're calling a world ID, which is supposed to be this like completely secure, foolproof digital identity.
So it's like a supercharged fingerprint scan, but
Exactly.
for your eyeballs.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And because your iris is so complex, way more than a fingerprint,
Right.
it's almost impossible to fake.
Yeah.
Like even the most advanced AI would have a tough time.
Mm.
That's how they're trying to fight deep fakes.
I see. Okay. So instead of typing in those squiggly lines, I'm looking into this orb.
Basically,
Yeah. And that's it. That's how I prove I'm a real person.
essentially, yeah. But it's bigger than just proving you're human.
Okay.
It's about having this digital identity that you can
Yeah.
use anywhere online that everyone can trust.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got this whole like futuristic orb thing scanning our eyeballs for this like super secure digital ID. But what's the point? What could we actually do with this world ID?
Yeah, that's the real question, isn't it?
Right, right.
Like imagine if you could get into like your medical records instantly
Oh,
just by like scanning your eye or like breeze through airport security just by like glancing at something.
okay.
It could really streamline all that, all that bureaucratic stuff.
So less paperwork, shorter lines. Okay, I'm listening. What about like I don't know, the bigger picture? Our sources mentioned something about economic inclusion. How does this world ID play into all that?
So think about it like this. There are billions of people, right, all over the world who can't use traditional banks.
Hmm.
They might not have a driver's license or a permanent address. World ID could change that. Give them a way to participate in the global economy
Yeah, yeah.
in a way they couldn't before.
It's like giving everyone a digital passport, no matter who they are or where they're from. That does sound pretty revolutionary. But anytime you have a new technology, especially one this powerful, you got to think about the downsides.
You got to be careful.
Right.
One of the biggest worries with this whole World ID thing is what's called function creep.
Function creep. Okay, come on. What is that?
So let's say you start using this to prove who you are online
Right.
for like a simple purchase or whatever.
Right, right.
But then it starts tracking where you go, what you buy, even like who you hang out with.
Hmm.
That's function creep. This thing that was supposed to do one thing slowly starts doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and you didn't even sign up for it.
So it's kind of like those store loyalty cards
Exactly.
that track everything you buy.
Yeah, but like a million times worse.
Oh, wow.
Because now it's not about what kind of coffee you drink. It's everything.
And that data, like in the wrong hands,
Oh, it's a nightmare.
could be used for who knows what.
Targeted ads, manipulating people, you name it.
I mean, it's not hard to imagine a future where you need this world ID for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Not just online, but like to get into like building stores.
Right, or like maybe even if they
Yeah.
think you're a risk or something.
Okay, yeah, that's a little too Big Brother for
Yeah.
me. But let's play devil's advocate here. Even with all these risks, this world ID thing, it could actually like even the playing field in some ways.
Right.
I mean, it does seem like, I don't know, a lot of trust we're putting into this whole system.
It's a huge deal, for sure.
What's stopping some like super hacker from just getting everyone's iris scans?
Well, that's the big question,
Mm.
right? I mean, they say they've got all this like top of the line security
Mm-hmm.
and that the data, like your iris scan, it's all encrypted
Okay.
and stored like all over the place. So it's not like all in one spot.
Decentralized, right?
Exactly. So in theory, at least, it'd be pretty hard to hack. But, I mean, anything's possible, right?
True, true.
And that's not even thinking about, like, what if someone from World themselves misused the data?
Yeah. Or governments.
Exactly.
Like, what's to stop them from getting their hands on it?
Yeah, there are a lot of what ifs.
Definitely some food for thought. But, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a sec.
Sure.
Even with all the risks, this World ID thing, it could actually, like, I don't know, level the playing field in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about, like, online voting.
Okay.
This could be huge for that.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a secure ID. Everyone can vote. Easy. No matter where they are, if they can get online, they can vote.
No more, like, waiting in lines for hours just to vote.
Exactly.
No more, like, fighting about voter ID and all that.
Exactly.
Huh. I mean, that sounds, I don't know, almost too good to be true.
It's a nice thought, right?
Yeah.
And it goes beyond voting. I mean, what about, like, access to education,
Yeah.
healthcare, jobs? Imagine if those weren't limited to where you live or how much money you've got.
Right, right.
A secure digital ID could, like, open all those doors
Yeah.
for everyone.
So it's like that saying, right? Technology is a tool.
Right.
Like, it can be good or bad. It all depends on who's using it.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we need to be talking about this stuff. Right now,
Yeah.
while it's still new, we got to figure out what we want this whole digital identity thing to look like.
I agree.
And we got to hold the people making it accountable.
So where do we go from here? This whole thing feels huge.
It is huge.
Like, we're on the edge of something big, you know?
Totally. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at a real crossroads. This digital identity stuff is going to change things.
Mhm.
And it's up to us,
Yeah.
all of us, to decide what we want that change to look like.
Big choices. And honestly, I don't know if there are any, like, easy answers.
Me neither.
But I do know one thing. What we decide to do, like, today, it matters.
Yeah, it shapes the future.
Exactly.
And a lot of those choices, they come down to trust.
Right.
Like, can we trust the people building this technology? Can we trust our governments not to abuse it?
Right, right.
Can we even trust ourselves to use it for the right reasons?
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about, but I think it's a conversation worth having. So to our listeners, we want to know what you think. Hit us up on social media. Let us know your take on this whole digital ID thing. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into the wild world of tech. Thanks for listening.